Hello everyone. We will go to the modeling section, Okay, so let me create the part file or solid type. Instead of default template, we will use the Newton second part solid. Okay. Now in CREO, one of the important thing which you need to always keep watching is about this particular comment. Now what it says is we have open one file, okay, in CREO, and this is particular template we have been used while opening the file. Okay, so this is something here you will see all the comments or the directions which you will be using during execution and working on the particular file. This is one important thing you need to be watchful on the various options. Now file already we have explored, okay, what all things are there. Now you can see there are some other options got highlighted. So save as, print. Okay, in the save as you have a save a copy as an option. So you can copy the object in the active window. Now you have another important option which is save a backup. So by using this option you will create a backup of your current work to some other folder or the current directory if you want. That is how save a backup option will work. Now mirror part. Now let's say you have a symmetric object and it is symmetric about certain axis. Then you need not to draw the complete object, or you need not to sketch or model work on a complete object. What you can do, you can have one common axis and one of the side of that common axis you can just sketch and just mirror the part with respect to that axis. So likewise you can save the mirror part directly. Then manage file, we have seen the prepare. Yeah, so this prepare is another important option which would be used almost in every files. Why? Because you can edit the model properties here. So you can define the materials, you can choose or change the unit system, then you can also get to know about the mass properties. Okay, so that is why this particular option, the model properties, is very important, because you need to extract the masses, you need to define the materials, you need to also define the densities of the materials so that you can extract the accurate mass. So that is how the prepare section would work, and the model properties is one of the important distribution here. Then there is another option called as send, wherein you can send the file as an email with an attachment. You can also send email with a file as a link. Okay, that is how this particular option would be used. Manage session already we explored, help we already explored, and options I think we have already explored. So this is about the file. Now coming to the model, one of the important aspect is about the planes. So you see the planes are one of the key building blocks of the CREO software, and you can see there are three different planes highlighted. The F1 plane, I can highlight over here the datum plane. Then this is a vertical plane basically. This is another plane, F2 plane, which is a top plane and perpendicular to the earlier plane, right? And then there is a third plane which is a kind of horizontal plane and again normal to other two planes. So this is how the basic the three planar system been highlighted on the screen. as a part of the default option. Now this particular planes axis display, point display, coordinate system display and plane display, all these things would be selected from this particular option. Okay, so let's say I have removed the plane, default plane display now. Okay, similarly you can see the coordinate system here, part coordinate system definition, which consists of x, y, z axis. Now if I just remove this part coordinate system, then it would be just showing the default coordinate system which we seen as a part of the default option which is given while spinning the model or spinning the window. Let me select all the options, then system will show all the axes available in the part file or the assembly file or the sketcher file. It can display the points if we have created any points, coordinate system and the plane display. Let me just remove everything now as of now. Okay, or let me just put the planar display to start with. So this is the plane option. If you wanted to create any additional plane, then you can create the plane through this particular option. Similarly, the axis, points, coordinate systems and the sketching on any one of the planar reference can be done using these particular options. Okay. Apart from this, now you see there is a extrude option. So what happens in this extrude option? Let's say we have created one sketch, 2D sketch on a reference plane, and we have to create a object from that particular sketch. Then this particular extrude option will be used. Now let me just explain you how these two things will be used. Now let me just sketch something on this particular plane. So we have chosen a plane here. Okay, so you see in the message window it always shows they choose either reference such as surface, plane or edge to define view orientation. Let's say I have chosen this plane which is considered as a reference plane, and now I will say sketch. Now you see the reference lines will be created on that that reference plane wherein we can do some sketching operation. Now there is a option called a sketch view. Once you click on this particular option, what it does, it orients the sketching plane parallel to the screen. Now, and this is very convenient option, you know, when you wanted to start the sketching or when you wanted to start working on a particular plane. So you see this is what was the reference plane, and this is the reference line it has created when we given a command of sketching. Once you go in a sketch, then there will be a lot of option associated with the sketching commands. You know, you will find lot of options like circle, rectangles, lines, arc, ellipse, splines, fillet, chamfer, text, center lines, points, then coordinate systems and so on. So these all are the sketching tools or sketching commands which can be used to create a sketch on a given plane. Let's say I created a sketch, then I press the middle button in the mouse, and let's say I defined the diameter of this particular sketch to be or circle to be 50 mm. And with the middle button in the mouse you can zoom the object. So we define a sketch as a circle. We also given the dimension of that particular circle, and then just say OK. So now you have a circle which is sketched on a reference plane whose diameter is 50 mm. Now what I can do, I can use a extrude option. Now just rotate with the middle button of the mouse, just rotate the object, and you can see how this extrude of that circle can be done. With the help of the arrow, you can extrude the object either on back side of the reference plane or on the front side of the reference plane, and the amount of extrusion can be entered here. So let's say I wanted to extrude this circle by 100 mm to create one solid cylinder. So this is how this solid cylinder will look like. Okay, and then just say okay and see your solid cylinder is created. So that is how you see the datums. These are all the options related to the datum. Then the shapes. You can create various shapes, with the help of this particular option, and I just took an example of extrude, how we can create a 3D object of a desired shape with the help of one 2D sketch. That is how you will be able to blend or create a 3-dimensional objects from a 2-dimensional sketches. Again, there are different types. One is blend, and then there is a rotational blend. We will explore this, going forward, how these particular options can be used. Now coming to the engineering. Now in engineering, there are various options, like let's say if you need to create a hole in the object, if you create the round, on the edge of the cylinder, because in reality you cannot have such kind of sharp edges, in any of the part, because it can hurt the user, or it can be creating some other problem like the singularity or the local load transfers. So for that you can have the round. So let me just give a round here, and let's say the diameter of that round is 2 mm, and you can just put the round in the body. Similarly, if you wanted to give the chamfer, you can give a chamfer here on this particular edge. Okay, the magnitude of the chamfer is 2 mm, and that can be set with the help of this particular options. There are different options. There is a dimension and the angle. Let's say you need a chamfer of 2 mm with an angle of 45 degrees. So let's say the angle of that chamfer is 45 degrees. So you can just give that chamfer here. Okay. Again, there are other options, like you can also give the draft. Okay. So that draft option we will see in the detail assignment. Then there is a shell. So it will be like hollow out the inside of a solid. Okay. So there will be a one hollow portion in a given solid. That is how shell will be created. And there is a rib, So basically we will create a rib on a with the help of a sketch which will be defined in a given path. So that is how it is called as the trajectory rib. That also we can explore in the detail modeling session. Then in editing, there are another options like wrapping, removing the corner, splitting the surface, warping the surface, then collapsing, few features into single feature. Likewise, the editing various options can be used. There is a pattern option. So the pattern option means, let's say in this particular surface you need to create a circumferential holes, for bolting the side plate on this surface. So let's say you need 12 such holes, threaded holes, so that you can put the plate and then bolt it from the outside. So this pattern option will be very useful in these circumstances, wherein you need to repeat certain feature after certain angular distance, on all over the circumference. That is how patterning will be helpful. Then there is a projection option or project option, wherein we can project any sketch, any line, any chain of the lines, on a solid or non-solid surface, or also on the datums. Okay, that is how projection option will be used. Then there are some options related to the surface handling. So boundary shell, then filling, styling and freestyling. So these are more being used while working on the refining or editing the surface properties of an component or the 2D geometry. Then there is a model intent. So model intent are the component interfaces. So there are family tables, then there is parameters. So we can we can define this body with the help of its diameter, the OD of the body, its length, and we can create different type of solid cylinders, by just entering or changing the various parameters. Similarly, the switching between the dimensions can be done. Then relations. So in the relation section, we can create the relation between multiple instances of an object. What I mean here is, let's say we need to define a gear tooth, on the OD of this particular body. Then we can define the formulas related to the involute gear tooth profile here, and just by modeling one tooth, we can create multiple tooth profile all over the circumference of the body. This particular option will be very helpful while defining the geometry mathematically. So here you can import relations, external relations, or the equations, I would say. Then you can also export the relations. So let's say you have created one set of equations, or the set of details you have entered to create a tooth profile on this particular body. Those parameters can be exported to a different file for creating the similar pattern. So likewise, there are multiple options here which can be explored during the creation of the gear tooth profile, let's say on the 3D solid. So yeah, so these are some of the basic options available in the model tree. Then there is a regenerative option, so regenerate the body. Then regenerate manager, auto regenerate. So during the editing mode, we can keep on regenerating the model while we are working on very big files. Then there is another tab over here, user defined features. So UDF is something we can be used for creating some of the repetitively used features. Like let's say someone has to create the cylinders of different shapes, different dimensions repetitively, and which needs to be used for assembling purpose. So for that case, you can create the UDF feature, and you can just read that feature whenever we wanted to create this particular object for the subsequent assembly or during the modeling. Then copy geometry is another option which we can use, to copy the some of the features from the geometry, or altogether geometry can be copied from the another model to start using that particular geometry in the current model. Shrink wrap, so it is more of like a representation of exterior shape, of the particular model. That is how this particular feature will be used. And then get the data. So we do have the import option, layout featuring, then independent geometry creation, and also the merging and inheritance. So this is not very widely used except the import option, so that's why we will not focus much on these things. Now this is all about the modeling portion of the software, and as you see, so we had these 3 datums here, right? So the moment you keep on working on the model, on the files, that system will start creating the model tree. So initially we had only these 3 datums and 1 coordinate system. Afterwards we created one sketch. You can see this sketch here, right? Then after sketch we had created, or we have performed one operation on that sketch, which was the extrude option, so which is also seen here. Then we put one round and then chamfer. So likewise the model tree will be started creating in the same order in which you perform the various operations, okay? And let's say we have to hide some of this operation, then you can just remove this insert arrow up, and then you can highlight the portion of the model which is of your interest. So I will just go to the back, so that we have a cylinder with chamfer on one end and round on another end. Thank you very much.